Shalom. I want to start off by giving all glory, praises, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Akakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the brothers teaching us truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect. One third is sincere listeners. Or Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God. And Yahushai being the name of his Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. All right. This gospel, this truth, kingdom of heaven, salvation is for the Israelites and the Israelites only, who are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the ones scattered abroad that may look like the other nations, but your spirit resonates with this truth. The kingdom of heaven, salvation, all right, is for you. Today's lesson is going to be titled something along the lines of the importance of having a good name and good rapport. I'm just going to jump right into it. Spirit is on me. So we just start out Proverbs 22:1. It says, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and love and favor rather than silver and gold. And when you think about business, right, a lot of people want to do business with the business that's reputable, the name of the business. If you do good business, good work, honest work, your name carries so much weight, right? And it's like knowing who a good mechanic is. That's so valuable. Not know, like, because there's shiesty mechanics out there, for example, right? There's people trying to get a one up on you, scamming you, all right, causing problems to your vehicle, but then also charging you and then telling you there's something else that you need to fix. But when you know an honest mechanic with real expertise, and he's been in the industry for long enough, all right, his name is solid, his name is good, you know what I mean? That's the money's gonna come, man. Because that's why it says a good name is better than great riches, because the riches will come once you do honest, good work. You see what I'm saying? You're dependable, whatever. You're upstanding, right? So all that it pays for itself, man. And that's the thing. You want to be able to have a good name amongst brothers, amongst the brotherhood, okay, amongst what this thing of ours, starting with the apostles and elders on down. You want to have a good rapport and good name amongst these men, man. It's not to be nothing about man pleasers, but it's what the will of the Lord wants, man. It's what Yahushai wants. All right, that's just simple and plain. You want honest people around you. You want stand up guys around you, and you need to know they're trustworthy. You want to have trustworthy people around you. Okay, you can't just have any and anybody around you, and that's why you have to prove a friend always too. You got to be tried and proven, man. You got to be put through things. You see what I'm saying? All right, so all right, you're down for this. You know what I mean? Are you down to sacrifice your Saturdays to go out and teach, or Fridays, whatever day brothers go out and teach? Are you down to do that week in and week out, man? For the rest of your life until your Yahushua returns, and and nobody knows what day that is, right? But if you can prove yourself to things like that, you know what I'm saying, and other things obviously, but I'm just saying that's one of the tests that you got to go through before getting into the camp, is being on the outside listening and dedicating your whole life to this now, man. Dedicating your whole life revolves around this, and it says Ecclesiastes 7:1, a good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. And that pretty much goes into this world right now. But the Lord never created it for us to really be to die, right? It's just that in this world there's sin. You see what I'm saying? So when you're born into this world, you're born into sin, okay? But in the kingdom, it's not going to be so for the Israelites, okay? We're going to be upright, we're going to be perfect, and the Lord never created man to die. He didn't have the intention. He didn't want men to die. He created them with the intent to live and enjoy the earth. You see what I'm saying? Proverbs 10:7. The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot. Going into the importance of having a good name as well. Or your name will live on forever if you do well, if you do right by the Lord, you do right by your people, you do right by your nation. Okay, you're doing the will of the Yahweh Shem Shai, and you're a stand-up guy, you're an upstanding citizen of Israel, so to speak. You know what I mean? Sovereign, you're upstanding sovereign citizen of Israel in the kingdom, right? Which all of us were gonna be perfect, anyways, right? But right now, this is like the testing ground, right? We're all still proving ourselves. It's not like we've proved ourselves. No, we're not done. We're every day we're coming in. We're doing this thing. We live this, right? So we always got to prove ourselves, and we're proving ourselves to Yahweh Shem Shai, and we still have to prove ourselves to men as well in this truth. All right, because you got to be proved. You got to be tried. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? Proverbs 3:1. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. All right. That's why I said the Lord never created man to pass, to perish, right? Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck, and write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of Yahweh and the man. Okay? And that's just playing to the point, man. You want to be doing things in truth and sincerity. Let not the truth forsake thee. Let not wisdom forsake you. And let not mercy forsake you. Always have mercy in your back pocket as well too. Showing mercy to others. All right, showing mercy to your brother. You see what I'm saying? These are all things. These are all characteristics that Yahweh Shai exemplified. Okay, he said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." Even though they were doing all type of wickedness to him, man. Our own people. That's crazy, man. And they're still gonna get judged. Don't get it twisted. But at that time, he showed mercy. He showed restraint. You know what I mean? So these are all things we gotta have, and and be able to mimic, so to speak. All right, we're following the Lamb wherever so he goeth. You know what I mean? Proverbs 20:9. Who can say, I have made my heart clean? I am pure from my sin. Diverse weights and diverse measures, both of them are like abomination to the Lord Yahweh. Even a child is known by his doings, whether his work be pure and whether it be right. Okay? And we want, that's how you gotta move. You gotta move with purity, sincerity, and righteousness, man. And you'll be known for that. You see what I'm saying? You'll be praised for, in a sense. What's that word? Elevated or extolled, so to speak. Men will renown you. People will renown you for your purity. You know what I mean? how you conduct yourself, your conduct. Even a child is known by his doings, whether his work be pure and whether it be right. Okay, you'll be known. So imagine more if your doings are negative. And in this society, people get notoriety for doing negative shit. And they kind of feed off of that because Esau has created a system to where you can, you do evil, you get praise, you get carnal praises of men on the left hand side, man. All right, but it's short lived. It just looks like it's going on forever because there's always a sucker to replace the person that got short lived, that was living a short lived life, and the cycle continues. There's always a Jake that may do some wicked shit and he gets propped up for it, he gets bigged up for it, he gets a record deal because he did this. He's a murderer, he sells drugs or whatever, he's a witch, he's a warlock, he's a wizard, he's a what's that one for the woman, or he's a pimp, so to speak, right? Or whoremonger, right? That's the word I was looking for, right? And then you can make, you get a record deal, you get a podcast, you make money, but it's all short lived because Esau has you by the number, man. When you get involved in that type of criminality and all that stuff, there's only so long you last, man. All right, none of you niggas last, bro. It's either you get locked up or you dead. Right, you're in jail, you're locked up. That life, it doesn't lead to nothing, and it's vainglory, and a lot of you niggas just trying to impress men for the wrong reasons. All right, it's not even that you're trying to impress men, so to speak, for your wisdom, your righteousness. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to impress men to prove that you're the baddest, you're the wickedest, you're this and that. You're not like trying to use, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not this thing of ours. We're not here to impress men, but we can, through our knowledge and our whatever, however the way the Lord is dealing with us, we can share how the Lord's dealing with us, and brothers can appreciate, like, damn, if you break something down, you'd be like, damn, I never even thought of it like that. You know what I mean? Damn, I appreciate that. You know what I mean? I needed to hear that. You see what I'm saying? So we all have our own relationship with Yahweh Shai, and so it's important. It's not to say, but like it's good to hear different perspectives, even though it's the same breakdown and all that stuff, right? But it's good to see how the Lord is dealing with certain men, or all men that are walking in sincerity and truth in this thing, man. It's like, wow, like, because the Lord is dealing with who He deals with, how He wants to deal with, right? So when you get a certain perspective, oh shit, like, damn, I never, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate I came across this video. I appreciate I came across this channel. This brother, he brought it out, or that was a good precept he brought out. I never thought about it this way, and it's always good. That's why the scriptures is a living waters, man. You know what I mean? Let's get this. This is Ecclesiasticus 6:1. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul be torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. Right? You don't always gotta defend yourself, so to speak, man. Like especially if you're in a hot seat or whatever the situation is, you just take the low route, man, because it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good when you try and plead, and it the most humblest route to take is to just acknowledge, take a step back, meditate why you are in a position you could be in, or whatever, right? And be introspective and reflect, man. Meditate on, why these things are coming out that you can, we can work on, things that you can work on and do better. You see what I'm saying? It's not for no reason. Thou shalt eat up thy leaves and lose thy fruit and leave thyself as a dry tree. Okay? You're not going to be able to, the Holy Spirit is going to leave you, man. Okay? If you continue down that path, so to speak, of, a wicked soul shall destroy him that hath it. It shall make him to be laughed to scorn of his enemies. Sweet language will multiply friends, and the fair-speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. And this is wisdom here too, right? Most people, they're on a vibration where they like this, especially women. Sweet language will multiply women. You know what I mean? But overall, people are overall on a, what do you call it? A certain level of I guess people like a good, positive vibration, so to speak. Even though as wicked as this world is, you can still woo people with casual conversations, so to speak, and just being able to spark up conversations and stuff like that. However, especially me personally, I don't like. I'm like Pastor Gabar. If I don't have to speak to anybody, I don't. The most speaking I do is when I'm doing my videos or my highways and byways teaching, honestly. You know what I mean? I don't really like speaking to people, you know what I mean? Because we're in this truth and nobody's on our level. Pastor Gabar, you use that word misanthrope. We don't want to talk to you people, man. Really in truth. But because we're Jake, we have that ability to do that. You know what I mean? Just because we don't want to talk to people doesn't mean we can't. You know what I mean? And that's like the superpower we have amongst the world. One of the superpowers, I should say. Verse 7, verse 6. Be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. Okay? And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. Again, some friend is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and he will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thine enemies, and take heed of thy friends. Right? You gotta watch for your friends. Watch who you call your homies. Alright? You gotta always be watchful, man. Apostle Tahar says that all the time. He's always watching other apostles and stuff like that. He's not. You know what I'm saying? You gotta watch, but at the same time, you still gotta be a brother. You know what I'm saying? There's a balance, right? Because you never know, right? Betrayal is prophesied to happen even in this walk. You know what I mean? You don't know who's going to be an agent in the end. You don't know any of these things. That's why this all goes back to having a good name. You want to have a good name, a good rapport amongst, obviously, first and foremost, Yahweh Shai, and then the brotherhood, right? You know what I'm saying? And you want that to be up until the end, man. You want that to be there to the end. You want to be written of, all right? This is a man that stood so stiffly for the Lord. Good. That's a good name to have, man. All right? I might end it off with that. Where are we? It's verse 14. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such one hath found a treasure. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. Right? You can't put a measure on that. You can't, A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Okay? Whoso feareth the Lord, Yahweh shall direct his friendship aright, for as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. Jeez, that's the point, man. If you fear the Lord, you're going to do right to your friend, and vice versa, if he fears the Lord as well. right? If you fear Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you're gonna be the best friend you could ever be. You know, my son, gather instruction from thy youth, so shalt thou find wisdom till thine old age. Right, and that's wisdom right there. You know, just having the wisdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Come on, you know. And this is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 41. Start 12. Have regard to thy name, for that shall continue with thee above 1,000 great treasures of gold. Yeah, nobody gonna regard you for having all these earthly possessions, man. How were you? How were you when you got it, or how were you before you got it? How did you obtain it? That's what people are gonna know. Oh, that nigga did some bullshit to get that gold, or he had an honest business. He was able to get that gold. You see what I'm saying? It's two different, right? So it's like, have regard to how you move. Have regard to your name, man. Your name is your name, man. You know, you don't want to have a tarnished image, so to speak, right? A good life hath but few days, but a good name endureth forever. You know. Let's see. Oh, okay, Salakia. It was here. Let's grab it then. View chapter. I'm gonna end it off with this. So second 247. So I'll start at 44. Second Ezra's 2 and 44. It says, so I asked the angel, I said, Sir, what are these? And he answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of Yahweh. Now are they crowned and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is that crowneth them, and giveth them palms in their hands? Okay. So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of God, which is Yahushai, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord Yahweh. Then the angel said unto me, Go thy way, and tell my people what manner of things and how great wonders of the Lord thy God thou hast seen. Right, so this was a vision given unto Esdras. All right, Yahweh gave him the vision through the angel. All right, and he saw this happening in real time. This actually happened. You know what I mean? It was already there. See, the Lord has the ability to take you to the future, the past. He can do that. He's the master of time, man. Okay, that's just the real time traveler. He put it, you know what I mean? He put him through like, I don't even know, man. You can just use your imagination, man. Use your imagination on how the Lord could just bend time and bring you fast forward. All this stuff already happened, but we're playing this thing out, man. Right? We just have to play it all out. But yeah, I'm just gonna end it off there. Lord will you edified. I'm gonna say shalom to the next one.